Welcome to Radio Fixer's channel. Subscribe for upcoming videos. This radio was donated to me, built in Inglewood, California from 1950s to 1970s in both tube and solid state variant. I highly suggest going back and watch other episodes regarding this restoration where we took the cabinet apart and fabricated the missing part, restore the entire cabinet, and also troubleshooting the chassis. In this episode, since I do not have a schematic for this radio, I'm going to continue testing each section. Hopefully we can find a problem with this radio. I will add all the products that I'm using in the comment section of this video. Feel free to check them out. Let's get started. Enjoy the video. Select that bell so it notifies you whenever I upload new video. Put your thumb up. What this does, it notifies other people they enjoy this hobby. Alright? I appreciate you. Before we get started, I want to take this time and opportunity to thank Don at Restored Old Radios. He's such a great person. He contacted me, gave me a bunch of suggestions, also sent me some schematics of other radios. That was very helpful. Again, thanks, Don. You're a great person. I really appreciate it for taking time and assisting me. Let's get started. Alright, as you see, I took the antenna out again. I'm going to test it again with multimeter. I know I already tested with multimeter, but that time was connected. So let's see if I'm going to get the same results disconnected from the radio. Put in the sound. Here it gave me the same result. That means the antenna is fine. All these wires are okay, they're not damaged. Let's see what else I need to do. Let's check the coil resistance using an ohm meter. That's 2.2 ohm from here to here. From here to here, 2.1 ohm. From here to here, 0.5 ohm. So as you see, the antenna is fine. Thought maybe that was the issue. I tested, as you could tell, when it was hooked up to the radio in episode 4, and it was fine. So I thought to take it out again and test it. Everything is fine. What else? What else can it be? I just figured something out. Let me show you what's going on. See, this is a ground wire right here. Was a trimmer soldered to here and this resistor. You see that resistor right here? When I looked at it pretty close, zoom in with my phone, I saw that trimmer is broken. That's part of AM section. So what I did, I had to remove it. It's right here. It's very small. It's a 3-piece. So if you look at underneath, it's right close to this switch. I call it switch, so that is where actually you change the station. And that is connected right here. Is one of these things right here. Yeah, definitely that trimmer was hooked up to the ground section of this. That screw actually is hooked up to the chassis. Last episode I was mentioning transistor. This is it. So here is a trimmer that it fall apart. It's so small I have to bring it close to the camera. This was totally loose. As soon as I touch it, it fall apart. I'm assuming that's part of AM because the radio work on FM with no issue. Even this part is out, but it doesn't work in AM. I don't know if I can find anything like this. Man, what I will do, I will measure with my multimeter. Hopefully it's going to give me the ohm reading in this. At least if I find something close to that, maybe I can replace it. But find something like this is going to be very difficult. This was early 1970s when this radio was built. So let's see what I can do. This radio has just been a nightmare. You know, usually I don't work in that many solid state. I prefer regular transistor radio, just, you know, AM or tube radio. When we get to FM and AM, especially if you don't have a schematic, it's a little more complicated. You know, so anyway, let me see if I can figure these things out. Alright, I set this in ohm, of course. You see, that's the 5K. So if I can find any 5K trimmer, I can use that. Man, is my life. That's why the darn AM is not working. Alright, I set up the speaker back to show you. Right now it's set in FM. Let me turn it on.
So we already seeing
some see, Seeing FM is working, I'm going to change it so YouTube doesn't kick me out.
Talking today about the impacts of tariffs on American
okay, as you see, this is working on FM. Of course, when I switch it to AM, nothing happening. I promise you this is the issue. The last few episodes, you see, I checked everything. So anyway, at least I think I figured out what's wrong with this AM section. Man, you're not going to believe what I went through now. It's days and days and days, you know. I didn't want to give up. I just do not like to give up. I know if I put some time into it, for those of you just getting started in this hobby, it really is a great hobby. The good thing about it, it will challenge you, you know. And the other good thing about it is, you know, that it really makes your mind always fresh, always think about the possibility. It's a great hobby. Give you so much enjoyment when they start working. So, you know, you put something together that was totally dead, and you brought it back to life. So anyway, let's see if I can figure these things out. All right? Unfortunately, you know, I do not have that trimmer. I checked everywhere, I do not have it. I do have a bag of trimmers, but nothing that size. I put my jumper cable. This is the ground. That's where the trimmer was hooked up. This is one hooked up to the resistor. I also hooked up the antenna, outside antenna, to where we were sending signal through, to see if we can pick it up or not. So watch here. Now, when I touch these two together, the AM station comes up.
To that smart speaker, you have to play ESPN Radio. Don't forget to check us out on ESPN Plus. Only an hour HD of the show today because we got Game 3.
See, it's picking up. I put in a sports station so YouTube doesn't kick me out. No, the only issue with this is, let me disconnect this. The volume should be all the way up. When the volume is low, it's not going to pick up. Let me show you this. We're going to hook this up together.
Announce a retirement.
That's the highest volume
on social media just because
on volume control. Now if I remove this extended wire that I have, this is about 20 feet long or so. If I remove it, you see, you cannot hear it. So again, if I touch that,
showing a lot of athletes how to actually get it done, right? We're collaborating with a lot of different people.
I know we checked this coil and it seems like it was fine. The crazy thing, if I turn this around like that, you know how AM is just directional. Now I moved it, now I can hear it in the speaker. As I mentioned, if I change the direction like that, oops, this is hitting here. We don't want that. You're not going to believe what just happened. This is crazy. I don't have enough space on my desk. So I was moving the radio around as you saw. Unfortunately, one of these alligator, clip that I have, this is run to temporary speaker, and this alligator clip just hit the chassis and it made a shortage. So let's test, is it really amplifier failed or something else it failed in this radio? And then, I guess that's why I installed the original speaker. Instead, those alligator clip, that as I shared, it hit the chassis. I heard, and you heard it too, is a loud noise. So I hooked this up. This is the single tracer. Let's see where the signals actually is picking up. When I turn these things on, you will hear for the very short period of time the sound gonna come out of the speaker, actually, the station. You can hear it for a few seconds. Then after that, it goes totally off. As you know, this is already hooked up to oscillation transformer, already hooked up to a Variac. I always do that. I never work in chassis without doing that. So I know I'm going to be safe. I'm going to put my phone right here to record the sound because you might not hear it from here. So when I'm going to turn this on, you will see that comes on just for a short period of time, then it's totally silent. I think the problem is the amplifier board, but I want to double check, alright? So I'm going to put the phone, I'm going to record this close to the speaker so you can hear it, otherwise you might not because the microphone is pretty far from the speaker. Alright, put it on recording. Alright, let's turn on the radio. Did you hear it? Let me stop this. Heard a word or so, and then it's totally off. To test to see where the issues are, I hooked up my single tracer. I'm going to turn these things on. Alright. Now let's see if I hear any sound anywhere. Nothing here. You see, all the areas that I used to touch in the past, you could hear a sound, nothing going on. In the middle of here, volume control, nothing going on. Because volume control in the center is hooked up to the to amplifier. That's where the amplifier is. So the middle, as I see it, the wire goes from right here to there. I'm going to take a picture so you can see it as well. That the middle section is the yellow wires. It goes directly to the amplifier. The other one is green. From other side of volume control, it comes all the way to the switch. So this set on FM. AM, as I mentioned, I haven't fixed it. Amplifier feed to the center of the volume control. Again, I don't have a schematics. I have to figure these things out. Then from other side of volume control, where you actually can adjust the volume, it comes, the green wires comes here and come to the switch. So I'm thinking it's the amplifier issue. I'm going to touch the center again. You see nothing. I think it's amplifier. Now I'm going to touch the board, some area that I know FM was working the last time I tested. You see? If I touch other area, you see? So when I touch that 3 transistor, there's 3 transistors in this board, FM is working. So I'm thinking that amplifier board that is not working, Again, because it's not feeding from there to the center of the volume control. Hopefully this makes sense. So let me get online, try to do some research, trying to find out the chip that is in this radio, what type of chip it is. I checked the entire internet for GEL237, and in the bottom of that you see in this picture is the F1144, and I could not find anything at all. I mean, I spent days. Then finally I went to Antique Radio Forum. I put a picture of this and asked people, if they can assist me to identify this chip. As always, they're such a helpful group. They sent me some type of suggestion, and also they mentioned that is an IC chip, is of course a power amplifier, and they say I need to look for PA237 instead of L237. They also told me there's one available on eBay, and I checked that. It was close to $27 he was asking for it, and another almost $7 for shipping, and the person lived about 20 minutes from my house. So on eBay I sent a message, told him, I said, hey, I'm interested in what you have, can I pick it up from you? It was one of those things, give your best offer. And I went a few times, I gave him different offer. Finally, at by $18, I told him I will be glad to pay for this unit, $18, and you ship it to me, So you and I, we know that's pretty expensive for this chip. There are other chips there that, of course, they're not going to fit on mine. Usually people, they sell it at $3, up to $10. And the shipping very reasonable, is not $8 or $7 or so. And the guy didn't accept it. I said, man, so I said, not a big deal. As a matter of fact, I looked at for this radio on eBay to see how much this radio worth, the one that it needs to be fixed. The one I found was close to $50. Anyway, what I start thinking, I say, I'm making these videos to teach people how to fix radio. And if I'm having that much hard time to find that chip, they're never going to find anything like that. Or if they find it, the person going to ask arm and legs for it. I find one in Europe, the guy asking for $49. I mean, come on, guys. You haven't hit the gold mine. People these days, they have options, right? So what I did, let me tell you what I did. I knew I need two things for this radio. So anyway, I start checking on internet, and let me show you what I found. After spending at least a day on internet, I find a document, it's about 10 pages long, about this chip. I already highlight the area that I need to test. I'm so happy to find this. Again, if you need a copy of it, let me know. I'll be glad to send it to you. It took me a day to find this. It's not that simple to find this darn thing. So I'm going to use my multimeter to measure all these points that they mention here, and actually going to document it in the paper as well. So this is the new multimeter. I'm pretty happy with it. Feel free to check out my last video regarding this multimeter. It works very well. The good thing about this multimeter is that it's auto, and automatically you can find out this is AC or DC. You can actually change this, set to alligator clip. Alright, now I'm going to hook it up to the chassis. Alright, let's test it. I'm going to turn on the radio and we're going to test this thing, alright? I don't know if you heard that the speaker again, it came on for a second and goes off. When you look at under the chassis, not all the 8 pins are connected. There are just a few connected. So we're going to test it. Like this one should be 20 volts, and it shows 20 volts. As you see, look at the schematic right here. See, it says 24 volts, but you know, our radio is 20 volts. That's fine. This is the max 24 volts, okay? So we touch here, we got that. I'm going to test the rest and I'm going to show you the result. I don't want you to get bored with this. Okay, this is the result that I have right here. Max 24 volts, average 20 volt, number 5. This one, number 3, should be 13.8 volts max, ours 1.27. I put question mark, that means that's, you know, something wrong here. Number 1, here there's nothing under the chassis. Here supposed to be 12.5 volts, which the top of voltage I'm getting here. Even here it should be 1.55, I'm getting 0.11. So definitely this chip is bad. Alright, as you see, I did also for transistor. That is, I put all the documentation here, check every transistor as I could get to in this radio. So definitely the problem is that chip. That shortage caused this fail. This is this section, this gray area is the amplifier section. If you have a unit like this and this is failed, you're going to have a hard time to find a chip like this for early 1970s. So I start thinking, what else can I do? If this is amplifier, this section, this gray area, can I find something else, you know, online through Amazon to see if I can just change this with the new version? I'm not going to believe what I found. From Amazon, this is what I bought. Let me tell you about this. You know, this is mono. That's mono. This can handle up to 20 volts. This can handle up to 20 volts. This one, of course, is a new version. It should work better than that. That's at least my hope, you know. So we're going to modify this a little bit. Like this one I don't need, right? I'm going to take this out, maybe those out, you know, run wire directly like what they did. So let's see if this is going to work. It got to work. It's an amplifier, and that's an amplifier board. This amplifier board. So let me start working on this to install it right here. I need to do some modification. This board is a little larger than here. So let's see what I can do. Sometime, you know, just going through Amazon, I'm telling you, they have everything under the sun. You know, if I want to order this for Alibaba Express or from other supplier, I cannot return it if there's any issue with it, or if I want to return it, it's going to be a big mess. In the past, I bought somewhere else and it was such a big deal to send it back. They didn't want to refund my money. I mean, even the part was not working. They want me to pay for shipping back. Shipping back sometimes was much higher than actually the price of the item. But Amazon, good things about it, as you know, if the unit is not working, if the product doesn't perform well, or is not what actually they told you it is, you can send it back. All right, let's modify this and then I install it. All right. So I already removed this part, was sitting right there. I'm going to remove this one and also the other one. All right. The easiest way really to add some flux to the solder wick, just a little bit, and then I can unsolder it much faster. That's the only thing I have to take out, these 3 parts. Alright, I have to unsolder 3 wires. One red that it comes from the capacitor, that's where the 20 volts is coming from. The black one, of course, is the ground to the power amplifier. Yellow one, of course, goes to the switch, as you see. You see that? So let me unsolder that one, this, and the yellow. Those 3 wires need to be unsoldered, so I can take this board out. I'm going to take a picture of this so later on I remember. Always I suggest to do that, always. Believe me, you're gonna forget sometime. Always take a picture. Alright? That way, if I need to walk away from this and we come back next day or so, I have a picture to remember. That's why I take pictures. So let's unsolder this. Okay. And there are two screws here. Let me remove those so this board can come out. Alright, both of the screws are out, so let's take it out. So this is the board. Later on, if I find a chip like this, reasonable price, I'm gonna put this back in. That's why I, unsolder from other side so I remember later. So anyway, I'm gonna put this aside. Now let's see if the other one gonna fit in that space. This one is a little smaller, as you can tell if I put it right here. Since this is a smaller, I have to build something else that side so I can install them together. So let me work on that. Let me figure these things out. I'm gonna get back with you. As I mentioned, I have to build something here, so I went through the attic and this is what I found. Years ago, this was like for the cable, and I put a hole here to run some type of like a speaker attachment. I'm no longer using it. This is the best thing to use. You see, it's pretty strong, and I can actually cut this to that size and then install it. This should work. So something like that. Then cut it to this side, of course. This gotta work. I keep thinking, what should I use? What should I use? Always attic is good. I go in the attic, I start looking around through, I have a little box there, and this was there. I said, man, I'm glad, hold on to it. I'm never gonna use it. So let me start working on this. This is the piece I just fabricated for that amplifier. Already put holes, so I'm gonna paint it. I really don't need to paint it, but I painted, at least be close match to the amplifier. This is the paint I'm gonna use. I'm gonna put it in the comment section. It is a green color. All right, let me spray it. Just to spray it, I'm gonna let it dry, then I'm gonna spray the other side. Alright, as you see, I took all these parts out because I don't need them. I'm just going to solder the wires directly to them like the original one. I'm going to do the same thing they did here. I already cut wires to the size. Now let's solder those to this board. If you see on the board, it tells you exactly what they are. This is audio out. That means goes to the speaker. And this one where the volume control was hooked up, I need to figure that out because I don't need volume control. Still need to find out which one I need to connect together so the signal go through this volume control without any adjustment. And this side is for the DC hookup, plus and minus for DC. This is where the signal input, again, it shows plus and minus. So let's solder those things together. Alright, the majority of them are installed. The rest I'm going to install underneath the radio. This is totally dry, so we're going to install it. At least it looks much better than being beige. So I'm going to put these two screws here. These are very small screws that I found in my toolbox. Okay, this is the second one. Okay, that's why I built it this way, to be able to get underneath if I need to test something with my multimeter. Alright, now we're going to install this on the chassis itself. It came out pretty nice. What do you think? Alright, so let's install this. Of course, I have a long wire, so later on I can cut it. It's always better to be longer than shorter wire, right? If it's long, you can cut it. If it's short, you're stuck with it. Okay, I'm going to put the original screw back But as you can see, this screw is going to be very close to that board. So what I did, I got a plastic like that as a tubing, you know, then I cut a small pieces from here. Let me show you. Very small piece like this. So I'm going to put the screw in like that. I have to do this to protect it so the screw does not hit that little amplifier board. I don't want, you know, you make any shortage because this screws goes to the frame itself. All right. So see that piece right here? That's the plastic. It's like a tubing. You see right here? So by putting that plastic, you know, that plastic, it does not allow the screw hit the board because it's right on top of the board. You see that? Both sides, this side and other side, they're same. So hopefully it makes sense what I'm doing, right? There's going to be no shortages this way. So this is installed. It's looking good, isn't it? What do you think? I'm glad I painted green. Other way, if I didn't paint it green, it was a little awkward. Let me show you underneath. See that board? None of the pins are heading into the chassis, as you can see. That's why I designed it that way. There's a couple of things I need to solder here, then we are done. Then I can test it. Let me solder those. All right, it's finally working. Man, I can't believe this. So much work in this radio. I really like the way that look. So what do you think? Of course the radio is on. I'm gonna turn it up.
Service your home deserves.
See?
So remember, for the house, schedule at SnyderAC.com.
Every
It
Nissan
worked
Frontier is
very
battle
well.
tested. Its frame is twisted.
For a lifetime. Visit millenniumprecision.com or call 844.
See, it sounds incredible. I think because of that amplifier, it's pretty powerful. You see, it works really, really clear. You see that? Some of them, of course, is a weaker station. You have to turn up the volume, but it worked pretty well. Okay, I'm just going to keep it right here because I don't want YouTube kick me out. Alright, I'm glad that FM is working finally, and that you saw the sound is just incredible. Now let's focus on AM again. I know we keep going back to darn AM. Alright, let's just stop the video here. I don't want this video to be too long. In the next episode, I'm going to install the trimmer, which I ordered from Amazon. Hopefully that will solve AM issue as well. So stay tuned for upcoming video. At this time, I want to take the opportunity and thank my subscribers with their uplifting comments. You always encourage me to upload more videos, since this is just a hobby of mine. Again, I appreciate you. Enjoy all these videos, and you all have an awesome day. Take care. If you're interested to see more videos like this, feel free to subscribe to my channel, and you will be notified when a new video being uploaded. You have a great day.